Chapter 5. Katie awoke the next morning and noticed the sun shining through the window. She then saw Joe sitting up in bed. "Good morning, sunshine," he said. "Happy birthday. I'm sorry, but I didn't have a chance to get you a gift." Katie sat up on the sofa and then realized she was underdressed. She pulled the blanket up to cover herself. "Good morning, Joe," she said. "Thank you." "Don't worry about covering up. I've already seen pretty much everything," Joe said with a smile. "Joe, I've known you for less than a day, and I already want to kill you." "You can try, but it didn't work yesterday," Joe said, smiling again. "It appears I didn't damage your sense of humor. How are you feeling today?" "Not 100% yet, but much better." Realizing there was no point in being modest, Katie stood up and walked over to Joe. "Let me look at you," she said. She checked his right arm and saw no sign of injury. She pressed gently on his forearm and asked, "Does this hurt?" "Yes, a little." "A little? Like what on a scale from 1 to 10? Maybe a 3. "That's incredible. Were you seriously hurt yesterday, or were you pulling my leg?" "I was seriously hurt yesterday, Katie. This is no joke." "Okay, what was your pain level yesterday?" "At least an 11. Getting hit by a car hurts like hell." Katie lifted his shirt and noticed his chest looked perfectly normal. She pressed her finger against his chest. "What does that feel like?" "A 2, I guess." "I need to see your leg." "If you want to get into my pants, Katie, just ask." "Okay, Joe, may I get into your pants, please?" "Never on a first date," Joe said, smiling again. "The first date was yesterday," Katie said. "This would be a second date." "In that case, by all means," he said, and unbuttoned his jeans. Katie helped pull the jeans down and noticed his right leg still had some bruising and redness, but nothing like she expected. She pushed on the front of his thigh muscle and noticed a slight cringe. "Did that hurt?" she asked. "Yes, maybe a 4 or 5. "Apparently, you are not Superman, but a 5 is a lot better than an 11, Katie said before helping to pull his pants back up. "Now, you were going to tell me about your big secret." Joe held up his right hand and opened it so Katie could see the palm. It was covered in dried blood. She went into the kitchen and wet a paper towel. When she returned, she wiped the blood off and saw just a hint of a cut. It looked like it happened a week ago. "How can this be?" she asked. "I saw you slice your hand open." "I healed myself last night," Joe said. "What? You healed yourself? What do you mean?" "I healed myself," Joe repeated. "That is why I needed rest. Rest is a time of healing." "I've had plenty of rest after injuries, but never healed that quickly," Katie said. "That is because your healing is unconscious. My healing is conscious." "You mean you are able to think yourself better?" "I never thought of it that way, but that would be pretty accurate. Think of it this way. When you stub your toe, you feel pain in your toe because your body has nerve endings there. But what about your heart, your lungs, or your liver? Can you feel those? Maybe you can if they become a serious problem, but for the most part, people don't feel what is happening inside their bodies. I do. Not only that, I can also direct resources to correct any problem that I detect." Katie looked at him with disbelief and said, "Are you saying that if you had a tumor growing in your colon, you would not only know what and where it is, but you could also send hordes of white blood cells, or whatever, to eliminate it?" "In the case of a tumor, I would cut off its blood supply, but you are essentially correct." Katie took the paper towel in her hand and wiped Joe's forehead. The cut that she saw yesterday had healed almost entirely. "Okay, Joe, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would think you were lying to me. I just don't understand how this is possible." "I don't know, either," Joe said. "I didn't even realize I was different until I was almost 10 years old. My father died of a heart attack. I couldn't understand why he let that happen. I asked my mother why he didn't heal himself. She looked at me like I had 2 heads and asked why I would ask such a ridiculous question. I realized then that I was different and tried to keep a low profile after that." "Is your mother still alive?" Katie asked. "I don't know how to put this in a way that would be believable to you, so I will just say it. My birth mother died the day I was born. My adoptive mother passed away in 1956, 2 months before my 40th birthday." "What?" Katie said. "Are you telling me you were born in, let's see, 1916? "That's right. My real father was killed in the Great War. My mother came to America as a refugee. In those days, trips across the Atlantic were difficult for the passengers. I suppose the trip was too much for her. She held on until the ship docked in New York. I assume she let go once she knew I had a chance at life. That was the 3rd of October 1916. Holy shit, Katie said. That would make you over 100 years old. You're a centenarian. A young centenarian, but still a centenarian. So does that mean those photos on the wall are pictures of you? Some of them. Yes. Is that you in the army uniform? Yes, that is me. It's not my best photo. I wasn't sure if I should smile or look serious, so I ended up somewhere in the middle. I think you look very handsome in uniform, Katie said. Were you in World War II? Yes, I joined the army before the war started and ended up in North Africa as a combat photographer. I can't imagine what that was like. Were you ever injured over there? Yes, I was. A grenade went off near me. I was hit with shrapnel in my legs and back. It was bad enough to hurt me, but not kill me. To be totally honest, I could have healed much faster, but that would have drawn too much unwanted attention to me. As a result, the Army sent me home to recuperate in the United States, which is possibly why I am still around today. Were you scared when you were over there? Katie asked. Sometimes, yes. I think only fools have no fear. It wasn't fear, though, that made me hate being over there. War is a horrible thing, and my job was to document it. It's bad enough seeing death the first time, but photographing it so that you could relive it when the film is developed just got to be too much. I am so sorry you had to go through that, Joe. At least it is all in the past. Tell me, what is bad enough to kill you? Does someone have to take your head? I'm not the Highlander, Katie. This is real life. I can die just like you. You might have killed me if you had hit me harder with your car. I might have frozen to death if you had left me outside in the cold. If whatever gets me doesn't kill me right away, I can heal myself. But I need rest and nutrition to do it effectively. What about aging? How do you stay young? Katie asked. I wish I could explain it to you better, Katie, but it is like explaining color to someone who has only ever seen in black and white. Now that you mention that, I once did a story about a local woman who could see 4 primary colors instead of 3 like everyone else. It is an extremely rare genetic anomaly and only happens in women. If I remember correctly, the mutation comes in 2 or more pieces on the X chromosome, and both parents need to have a copy. Because women have 2 X chromosomes, the mutation is only possible with girls. Do you think you have something similar? Maybe your mutation is on the Y chromosome or some other combination. I never studied genetics, but now I wish I had. Do you think there might be more people out there like me? It's possible, Katie said. Maybe they are keeping a low profile like you are. Or maybe they are local to where your parents come from. Your real parents, I mean. Interesting, Joe said, but I only know my mother came from Croatia. It's a fairly big country, and I don't know what part she came from. Since you are a reporter, or at least a reporter wannabe, maybe you can help me research it. I would be happy to, Joe. Right now, though, I still feel I should get you some help. Don't worry, my grandson should be here soon. I help at the resort on the weekends or whenever they need help. I don't have a car, so I usually walk there, but after a big snowstorm like the one we had yesterday, he will come and get me. You knew he was coming all this time, and you didn't mention it, Katie complained. You didn't ask, Joe said. Now help me get up and get dressed, please. Katie helped Joe sit on the bed and retrieved a shirt and pants from the closet. He reached down and pulled a pair of socks and underwear from the nightstand beside the bed. He pulled off his shirt and put on the shirt Katie gave him. He then carefully stood up and dropped his pants. He asked Katie, "Would you like to turn around for this part?" "Not particularly," Katie said. "You watched me get undressed, so it's only fair." "Very well," Joe said before dropping his underwear. He stepped out of his pants and underwear and sat back on the bed. "I may need your help with this part. It's still painful to bend my leg." Katie picked up his underwear and put his feet through the holes. She pulled it most of the way up and did the same with his pants. "I think you can get it the rest of the way," she said. "I can't believe you would give up right before the finish line," Joe said, smiling. "You'd like to think I have a horse in this race, wouldn't you?" Katie said before adding, "You dirty old man." "Now, It was Katie's turn to get dressed. She pulled out a pair of blue jeans, a sweater, and a sexy lace bra and panties. She felt like teasing Joe, so she dressed herself very slowly in front of him. "You can look, but don't touch," she told him. "You really know how to torture a guy." This audiobook continues on the next video. For more information on this book and others by this author, please visit charleshuss.com.